Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com, and I'm back this morning to talk about what just happened this past Sunday as the Chiefs put a beat down on the Pittsburgh Steelers, a 36-10 victory at home. I didn't do a post-game show last night because I was busy, I was some family, but I still caught the game and everything like that, and I had my thoughts. And I didn't want to just leave you guys hanging. I still wanted to do a wrap-up, a review of this game. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, even though it's a little bit later. So I apologize on that. You know, I said in my preview that I thought the Steelers were a truly awful team. I had some peers of mine, telling me that, well, I mean, we still should respect them as an opponent. But I didn't see a path to them winning to this game. I believe Ben Roethlisberger is playing beyond his expiration date. I just don't think the Steelers scare anybody on offense. I mean, they were 26th in the league in points per game. Ben Roethlisberger is terrible under pressure. And heck, I said in my preview as well that if the Chiefs' defensive line gets any sort of pressure in this game, it's pretty much going to be over. And Ben Roethlisberger has actually fumbled 9 times this season going into this game. He had 9 fumbles, and I said the Chiefs have a pretty good chance of forcing a fumble because he's pretty much been a statue. He's one of the slowest quarterbacks in the league leaving the pocket, and what do you know, the Chiefs were able to force a fumble, and the Pittsburgh offense really couldn't do anything. And I guess I'll kind of start with that, the defense, because they really did play very well in this game. And even though they weren't at full strength again, no Rashad Fenton, no Nick Bolton, these guys are who you would consider difference makers on defense. They did not play in this game, and the Chiefs still just didn't miss a beat. And that's been one of the most impressive things about their turnaround, is that not only has the defense drastically improved, but in these games that they're performing and stepping up, they're doing it without some of their best players. We saw them step up against the Chargers without Chris Jones, without Willie Gay, without L'Jarius Sneed, stars on each level of the defense, and they were still able to pull that one off. So that's been one of the most impressive parts. But at the same time, Pittsburgh, that's a team that the Chiefs didn't really need those guys that I just mentioned that didn't play, which is also why I was never too concerned. As long as the Chiefs got, a decent number of those guys that were on the COVID list back this week, which they did, this game was never going to be an issue for them. Ben Roethlisberger clearly was an issue for the Steelers again. Charvarius Ward even picked him off, and props to Charvarius Ward. He's played very well this year, above my expectations. He looks a lot better. And really just everyone in this defense looks better than they did at an earlier point. And, the Steelers' offense just couldn't do much of anything. They relied on Najee Harris a lot, but the Chiefs were making plays in the backfield. L'Jarius Sneed, you immediately noticed him in his first game back. He was sniffing out those screen plays and plays in the flats and just coming up so fast. He's such a fast closer and making those tackles. Frank Clark was getting in the backfield. He got a sack in this game on the very first drive. Melvin Ingram also got back at his former team. Just everyone dominated, truly. I mean, there's not too much to say. The Steelers' offense didn't do much of anything. I also thought it was pretty crappy at the end there that Mike Tomlin was calling timeouts, trying to make it look like less of a blowout with like 2 minutes left in the game when they were down 26 points. Like, seriously, Mike Tomlin? If I'm being completely honest, I think this might be it for Mike Tomlin. This could be the end of his time in Pittsburgh. This might truly be it. He's hung around for a while, and he's had some okay teams, decent teams, and then he's had some mediocre teams, and that organization has, allowed him to keep coaching there. But I don't know, man. The Steelers, they kind of look like Mike Tomlin has lost the team this time. I'm not sure. Maybe Steelers fans can attest to that more than I can, but the Steelers look like a team that gave up, and I thought they went out pretty sad at the end of that game. If the Chiefs defense can continue to play the way they have in this latter portion of the season and carry that into the playoffs, I mean, who's beating them? Seriously, like, who's going to beat them when the Chiefs are only allowing 13 points per game or whatever it is? Like, I do think some of these other tougher teams that they'll face in the playoffs will put up a little bit more than 13 points. But, I mean, they're just playing so well. Spags is really coming to his own after starting out rough, and no one really seemed to know where to be. Players are getting comfortable in the defense. I will say Spags' defense is one that is known to start out slow, so maybe we should have seen this coming, but either way, it really is amazing the turnaround they've had, and this is by far the best defense that Patrick Mahomes has played with since he became the starter for the Chiefs. This may very well be his most well-rounded team that he's had. So, yeah, it's really amazing what the defense has been able to do, and in such a short time, because it looked like at one point that they were going to have to tear up the whole thing and start fresh this offseason. And I still think they will have a decent amount of turnover this offseason and they'll have to fill spots. But that's every offseason, and that's every team. So bravo to the Chiefs defense. Now, looking at the offensive side of the ball, and this is the part that I was looking forward to talking about because I thought the offense looked fantastic, all things considered. So, again, I thought the Chiefs were going to win this game all along. I said the Steelers were not that impressive. I don't really see them as a threat, but the Chiefs were missing some guys in this game. Andrew Wiley started once again at right tackle, going up against TJ Watt. And albeit TJ Watt was injured and he was in and out of that game with the ribs, he definitely was a warrior for attempting to play in that game. But Andrew Wiley held his own. And then there was no Travis Kelce in this game. And I said in my preview, because I expected Travis Kelce to miss this game. And I said, this is going to be really interesting. This is going to be a good opportunity for someone else in that receiving room to step up. And it's also going to be an opportunity for Patrick Mahomes to develop a connection with someone else on this roster. Because I think part of the reason we haven't seen a true third option emerge is, one, because Patrick Mahomes, his first two reads all the time are Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, and he doesn't really go outside those first two reads a lot because, well, it's Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. You're not going to be going to anyone other than those two very much, which is why they own such a high target share on the Chiefs. But with Travis Kelce not playing, Mahomes was going to be somewhat forced to go to someone else, especially because Tyreek Hill still played in this game, which was fine. You only really needed one of Kelce or Hill to play in this game. But with Hill playing this game, you knew most of the attention from the defense was going to be on him. So someone had to take advantage of that and step up. Mahomes would have to find comfort in going to someone else. So in seeing that, McCole Hardman still doesn't appear to be on the same page with Mahomes in year 3. Josh Gordon got targeted a couple times and couldn't haul one in. And I really feel for Josh Gordon because I still think he can be a factor. And you really wish he came up with one of those two catches that he could have made, but they would have been really tough catches. They were also both very well defended. I hope they still keep going to him, though. It just seems like he only gets targeted in the most impossible situations, so I feel for the guy. But anyway, him and Mahomes, they weren't on it yesterday. Demarcus Robinson is still running backwards. So that left Byron Pringle as the guy who stepped up. And Byron Pringle, he's been a guy that has shown flashes from day one, coming in as a UDFA out of Kansas State. He's shown flashes, but he never really showed enough consistency to really be considered that wide receiver 2, right? But maybe all he needed was an opportunity with one of the Chiefs' stars out of the lineup. Travis Kelce was out of the lineup, and what do you know? Byron Pringle, 6 catches for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he showed tremendous ability after the catch as well. His first touchdown was an off-script play in which Mahomes found him in the back of the end zone, and then his second one, he caught it at around the 15 or 20-yard line and put the entire Steelers defense on skates. That's the yard after catch ability I'm talking about that we know Pringle has. We also saw it against the Baltimore Ravens when he exploded for that. I think it was like a 60-yard touchdown after the catch. So Byron Pringle, even though he might not be the long-term answer at wide receiver 2, I think yesterday showed that Mahomes sees Byron Pringle as that guy when Kelce or Hill are not having a great day. And look, Tyreek Hill, he only had, 20 yards in this game, which showed that, again, Byron Pringle was the guy that Mahomes was looking for. He was comfortable with him in the red zone going to him. Again, he might not be the wide receiver 2 long term, but I think he showed that for the rest of the season, for the remainder of this run, he is going to be the wide receiver 2, and he's going to be expected to perform in that role. Patrick Mahomes also looked like himself again in this game. He was 23 of 30 for 258 yards and 3 touchdowns. and he eventually came out of the game for Chad Henne, which was the right call. I kind of wish the Chiefs had pulled the starter a little bit earlier because we saw some guys get hurt, a little bit dinged up. Tyrann Mathieu was one. Everyone seems to be okay, though. That was my one wish, is the Chiefs came out of this game without any major injuries and came out with the win, which is pretty much what happened. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the big one, although some reports are saying that injury doesn't seem as bad as it looked on the field, and he could be week to week, which is about best case scenario. And also, I don't think Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I'm not trying to people accuse me of shoveling dirt on the guy after his injury. He's already been a little bit injury prone in his career already. The Chiefs have learned to live without him at times. It's not going to be a huge deal. I don't really expect the offense to miss a beat without him. They have other capable backs on the roster, but he should be back probably before the playoffs anyway. Trey Smith, Willie Gay, those guys also got a little bit dinged up too, but everyone seems to be fine for the most part, which is good. I also thought the offensive line had one of their best games of the season. They've gelled fantastically in the latter part of the season, and I said that if this game was going to be even remotely close for the Steelers, it was going to be because the pass rush overwhelmed the Chiefs' offensive front, and that never happened, which is why we got the result 36-10. Again, I know TJ Watt was hurt and didn't play to the best of his ability, but that's still a respected group. Guys like Tuitt, Hayward, Highsmith, they're a very decent unit, so there's no shame in holding them in check, and Mahomes had all day to throw. It was really a thing of beauty. The Chiefs' offensive line once again performed. Creed Humphreys should be the Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. He had another great game yesterday, as always, and I just really wanted to shout them out for their performance yesterday. Lastly, a guy that I want to shout out is running back Derek Gore. I said when this guy first broke out in that Giants game that he's the most talented back on the roster, and if you need to find a way to get him on the field, because when he's on the field, good things happen. He just has a knack for making good plays. He had 12 carries for 43 yards yesterday, as well as 3 receptions for 61 yards, including that big 50-yard bomb down the field. This guy he's worked hard for a spot. I think he deserves more playing time. And now with Clyde's injury, he's probably going to get more run, which I think is a good thing because Derek Gore is a really good player. And I hope he continues to get more playing time and gets integrated into this offense. Jerick McKinnon also might be coming off IR in the next couple weeks, which would be a good boost to this running back room, which has taken more of a running back by committee approach later in the season, whereas before it was mostly Darrell Williams and Clyde Edwards-Helaire split carries. Maybe one of the other guys gets 1 or 2 touches, but they've definitely gotten all the running backs more involved recently, which I'm a big fan of, and I think it makes the running game overall more efficient. It's really nice to see the offense clicking on all cylinders, even without being at full strength and everything like that. Like I said, Andrew Wiley started at right tackle instead of Lucas Niang because he was on the COVID list, did just fine, held his own against TJ Watt. No Travis Kelce, someone else stepped up. It's a thing of beauty, and it's going to be hard to stop this team in January and February. The Chiefs are on a roll right now, and the Chargers also lost to the Houston Texans in embarrassing fashion yesterday, which means the Chiefs have locked down the AFC West for the 6th straight season. And feels good. The Chargers could also still miss the playoffs potentially if they screw up anymore. So that would be a comical way to end their season. But things are going good in Chiefs Kingdom. So with all that being said, if you're still watching, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com. And I'll see y'all in the next one.